Welcome back, Star Wars fans. So, I know I'm really late on this, but we had something called Kenobi taking up my videos for the last month. But today, I'm finally going to get to the first Andor trailer and giving you some interesting perspectives from a musical standpoint. My name is Derek, and this is Star Wars Music Analysis.
Do it.
Alright, so if you haven't seen it yet, I'd encourage you to also watch my video where I discuss a little bit about the composer for the Andor series, Nicholas Britell. I'm thinking we're going to get a grungier, beat-based, and heavily electronic saturated score for this series to match the R rating, and this kind of goes with what we hear during this trailer, and since Britell has a background in hip-hop, this would easily make sense. But who honestly knows at this point? The opening scene of the trailer, though, is this guy warming up to strike this anvil-looking bell. The very first thing that I thought of was actually how similar this is to the opening of the Eclipse trailer, where we have this new alien playing the large drum. The first breakdown video I ever made for this channel was actually for that trailer, so if you haven't seen it, it's a great chance to learn about connections to world music, which is actually where I'm heading with this as well. See, the idea of having music play from atop a tower to signal something is not a new concept. And since he doesn't seem in any hurry, and he's kind of stretching first, and this looks like possibly early morning, I'm immediately led to compare this to a ceremonial ritual. In Muslim tradition, tall towers similar to the one this guy is in are used to project the call to prayer, known as the Adham. This call is made 5 times during the day, at which point everyone is to stop what they're doing to pray. The first time being morning, followed by noon, mid-afternoon, sunset, and night. Of course, the anvil-shaped drum isn't a part of this tradition and is more reminiscent of a Christian church tower, but the structure itself that he's in certainly is more closely connected with the Muslim tradition and its architecture. If we focus on the anvil itself, we can see that there are narrow slits in it. This allows for slightly different sized sections of the surface to resonate at slightly different pitches throughout the hollow resonance chamber underneath. I actually don't know of anything in our own world exactly like this, but I can definitely see similarities to a tongue drum shown here. I'd be very curious what something like this would sound like in reality, and if anyone actually knows of an instrument like this in our world, please let me know in the comments down below. After the Lucasfilms logo, we get more sounds from traditional world music as we hear this low throat singing. Throat singing is a phenomenon of the voice wherein multiple pitches resonate at once by opening and closing different resonance chambers in order to isolate specific overtones. It's best known in the region of Mongolia, but can be learned by anyone with enough time and patience. This is actually a sound we've heard before in different Star Wars media, including Fallen Order, and I even remember it playing during one of the tracks during Star Wars Pod Racer. As the villagers begin scrambling, we see this villager strike some sort of an alarm. Although this particular device wouldn't allow for a long transmission of sound, there are regions of the world where drums were used to communicate over very long distances. These are generally referred to as talking drums, and different rhythms could communicate different messages. The best example of this is known as a slit drum, which was a hollowed out piece of wood seen in tribal communities of Asia, Southeast Asia, and Africa. The drum could be used to transmit sound over several, even 5 to 7 mile distances to communicate basic messages to other tribes. I'll be interested to see in the actual show what sound comes from this pipe drum though, because right now it sounds like a cymbal more than the thicker metal pipe that it appears to be. As European expeditions began exploring regions of Africa, messages of their arrival would be sent well in advance to warn other tribes. Keep in mind, this is before phones or the internet. And the correlation is obvious here as we see different tribes scurry as the Empire, modeled off the British Empire in some way, approaches in their LAATs from the Clone Wars era. The connection to all of these sounds is that they are coming from some sort of tribal or traditionally religious inspiration to draw subconscious connections to simpler peaceful cultures that would never be able to defend themselves against the might of the Empire. The four-note rhythmic figure returns then as the throat-singing drone continues underneath, and this is immediately responded to by more of the initial anvil strikes chiming. The different sounds begin to mix together more and more, and build into an overall chaotic wall of percussive sounds, and whether intentional or not, I think that this is a great way to symbolize the early Rebel Alliance as bands of disorderly and unequipped tribes banding together. And it looks like this show is going to be a lot of guerrilla warfare and espionage to battle the Empire by much smaller bands of tribal warriors, which sounds intense and the kind of show that someone like Saw Gerrera would fit right into. I'm really looking forward to whatever this show has to offer, especially because it's part of an era that hasn't been explored all that much yet, and it doesn't carry the same heavy expectations of a show like Kenobi. But now I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tell me if I missed anything in this trailer that you saw or heard, and before you go, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to learn more about the music of the galaxy far, far away. And as always, may the be with you.